Okay, I want to talk about getting some variety in your faces and heads. And this is something I really struggled with when I was starting out. So what I mean by getting variety is, so you don't want every man you draw to look the same, every female you draw to look the same. So we need to get some variety in there. So to start off with, well, let's just rough in a guy here, hey? Sorry guys, I'll try and knock this out as fast as I can so you're not sitting around watching this for too long. Alright, so clean this guy up now. It's the same process that I always use when I'm creating art digitally, and it's the same process I would use traditionally. Rough it in, knock it back with the soft eraser, which would be a kneaded eraser in the real world if I was using pen and paper, pencil and paper. And then go back in and tighten it up. Then of course I'd chuck my inks on over the top of the tightened up pencil work. I'm probably just fleshing this guy out a little too much, but that's alright. Alright, so we have our head here. So I want to draw another face, but I don't want it to look like this. Okay? So the first thing I can do to think about changing this guy up, let's just duplicate him over here and we'll use the same head, is the amount of flesh on the face. So how defined these cheekbones are. I can either harden these up even more or soften them even more. So let's harden these up. And I maybe that one a little bit too hard, so we'll just, that's better like that. Okay, so you can already see that looks slightly different. The next thing we can change, well actually what we'll do is I'll just keep using this example. So that going back to the cheeks, that's what I can do. I can make them harder. If I try and soften them up now, you'll see the difference that makes. So I'll just use the same example here. So this is probably a better example than, because this guy's already got some definition of his cheekbones. But if we soften this up, like this, now you can see that made a huge difference in what the character looks like. It also made a huge difference in the age of the character, which is something you have to keep in mind. So the other thing we can change up is the nose. So if I just take this first one here, and we'll chuck him over to the side again. If I change up the size of the nose, and we can vary not just the size but the shape as well. So for example, if I was to give him a much more upturned nose like this, see that changes the way he looks. I could give him a smaller nose. Like that. And that changes the way he looks as well. I could give him a more defined nose. And again, that changes the way he looks. It's the same with the eyes. Bigger eyes, smaller eyes, you know. Good example, I suppose, would be this. That's and obviously it's the same with the lips as well. And again, we'll let's give another example. So Make that guy go away. And again, I'm just going to be changing features. I'm not even touching the cheekbones at this point. So and I might just move those eyes up a little bit because I think I brought them down a bit too much. Okay, so that's some quick ways to get some variation in there. Now, the next way obviously would be to start tackling the age. Well, before I get into age, actually, let's take this guy again and we'll tackle the jaw because we have not done the jaw yet. Oops. Okay, so there we go. All right. So obviously we'll do the easiest one first, so we can square this jaw off a bit more. Which of course lends itself more to the defined cheekbones kind of look. The next thing we could do is we could round it off. And again, rounding it off lends a little bit more towards the softer, less defined cheekbones. And I think what I've done is I've just taken that jaw up accidentally, so I'm just going to bring it down. Like that, and you can see we're getting a lot of variation now. Okay, so keep in mind, you can change the eyes, nose, mouth, the cheeks, and the jawbone. So the general, shape and features of the face all lend itself, to changing what the character looks like. And once you have a, set face for a specific character, it's good to practice drawing them from different angles so that you always draw the face the same. Alright, let's move on. So, let's draw an old person now. So actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll use that same head. And we'll knock it back a lot. And we'll draw an old person out of this. Okay, so the first thing I do with an old person is give them eyes that were slightly more closed. And not always, obviously, it depends on their expression. You can have them with their eyes wide open. But for now, the next thing I do is I give him slightly larger, bulbier nose, because your nose keeps growing as you get older. Picking up his brows a bit. And again, this isn't for all old people, this is just an example. Same thing with the ears, I'll make them a bit bigger as well. Then we're really going to push these cheekbones here. So if I put a little curve like this on the jawline here, it tends to make it look sunk in a little bit more, like it's a little bit skinnier. It's just a trick that I do. Now we need to give him nice big bags under these eyes here. Some crow's feet. Coming along already, then we'll give him some definition along here. Then of course with the neck, it's going to be a lot more defined. Like that, okay. There we have a old person. Now let's do a more heavy set person. You know what? Let's scrap this one and we'll do it from a different angle for a change. So this would be where the cheekbones are, that jawbone in there, chuck the neck down here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that neck thick. I'm going to add some, really exaggerate this guy, hey? Let's go like the blob. Alright, let's go and tidy it up a bit. Well, first we better knock it back a bit. And again, this would be where I'd be using my kneaded eraser, just to pull it back just that little bit. Get this mouth in here now. So because we're obviously looking down on the head, we're going to see a bit of the inside of the mouth here. Things are going to curve, and the teeth are going to start going back into the head like this. And if we see any of the upper lip, upper teeth, they'll be curved like that. Let's chuck our tongue in there. And then of course, because of that angle, we're going to see lots of this bottom lip here. Now this is where we start to, things start to get a little bit different. This more heavy set guy. Because with a normal, I say normal, with an average person, or the ideal heroic person, that's not my ideal, that's just the standard everybody does. We'd be doing something like this. We'd be getting that. He's got his mouth open here. Something along those lines. But it's a more heavy set guy. Like I said, let's really exaggerate and go towards something like the blob. Let's get some of these ears in here first. So the blob has a singlet, doesn't he? So we'll then we'll come in here and we'll start adding some more of these folds in here. There we go, and let's just draw this guy from a different angle. Give you guys a good view of what he'd look like, hey? Alright, let's zoom in here. That's not quite working out the way I want it, so scrap it. check our ear in here. Okay, now when we get down to this jawline here, what I'll do is maybe I'll make this guy a little bit more subtle than won't quite go full blob on this guy. Alright, so let's knock this guy back and we'll clean it up. I think you get the general idea, but we'll give him a good clean up and then finish it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a new layer. Chuck that one on the blue line. So if you're interested in how to do that, if you're using SinArsStudios, all you have to do, if you come up here to the layer properties and see this little blue mark here, click on that and that'll change that layer to blue. Okay, so what I might do is I might just darken that up a bit. Okay, there we go. I know we haven't really talked about inking techniques, but it's not really important for now. That eye is horrible, so we'll that's better. And we could even chuck in some chin marks like that, maybe. Alright, and then we'd have our more heavyset guy. So again, remember, changing the size and shape of the features, whether it be the eyes, nose, mouth, and then changing the definition of the cheeks, the jawbones, all adds to changing the character's face. And remember, you don't want to be drawing the same character, or the same face for, every single character. Alright? So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please subscribe. You can also check out my comic. That'll be down in the description below. Yeah.